I know what it's like to be love in form. I'm glad to be back in the oneness of all that is. And I'm so grateful that you had the foresight to guarantee my return, because I could have wandered there lifetimes along that river, all in that canyon, never finding, or what seemed to be never finding my way home. But you guaranteed my return. If you wouldn't have put that sweeper, that one there inside, the Holy Spirit, I could have lost my way. And that parent just smiles and says, I know, my child, but I trusted you. I knew you could do it, because after all, you're a chip of the block. I, being unconditional, you are that. I trusted you. I had total faith. And as you went on your journey, I just smiled as you cried and said, this is my beloved child with whom I am well pleased. Today, I give my life to God to guide me today. You have within you that guide that will bring you home. Your soul parent has guaranteed your reawakening. And all that you have to do is ask for that guide, and your path will be made clear. Today, we continue on that great adventure of reawakening to the truth of what you really are. Part of the one self, perfect, whole, and complete. You are God's beloved child, and salvation is your guarantee that we are all going to make. So let's today enjoy the journey, knowing that our return home is guaranteed, and that we have that guide placed within us, and our divine inheritance is guaranteed. Today we cross that Grand Canyon of the belief that we could be separate from our soul. Today we reawaken to the truth that I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created, and nothing sources my experience but me. You are not alone. You have that God. Today, as decision maker, decide, as this lesson asks, to give your life to God to guide you today. Create a great day for yourself and your world. Namaste, my great co-adventure on this dance of reawakening to the truth of what you really are. Namaste. The God in me recognizes the God in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. It's helpful to me. I realized that I didn't get my lesson that I read earlier recorded, so this stream is a little bit incomplete, but you can come back to Clubhouse if you'd like to listen to that again. I certainly found it helpful to come back. And so, what do you guys think? Adriana, how'd that work for you?
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Bob. Do you want to share something first?
You first. Ladies first.
Ah, so wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm going to get my advantage with my gender then. Well, this is beautiful. I mean, yesterday we were in being my mind, my father through the day, and we are engulfing all these things and wrapping up in the salvation concept. And salvation is just innocence. Everything is no harm for anybody. Everything is just harmless. So if today I give my life to God to guide me and everything is innocent, and I had a little bit of a glimpse that my father has been always in my mind, then I must be sure that no matter which road I take, as Tom did gratefully and gracefully in his activity and in his meditation, there's no way that I can be lost. There's no way. There's no way, even if my life seems chaotic. I don't know how to say it correctly, but even if my life doesn't have any stability right now, there's no way that I'm gonna be misguided. Right now, I'm really experiencing that void. Imagine this. Imagine not having a certainty where is gonna be your place, because it doesn't depend on you. It depends on the governments of two countries and the processes and the money of no, why three countries? Well, yeah, Colombia as well. Yeah, three countries. Your home will depend on the processes and things around three countries. You have a daughter that loves you and you love her dearly, but you cannot be with her permanently because she will not live in the same place as you, and you don't have even a place. So imagine that, and you have a boyfriend, a wonderful, loving boyfriend that has lost his job and has and has as well the to deal with loneliness because you're gonna be apart from him because you have to. So everything around me seems really like scary and sad and lonely. But I don't feel lonely anymore because I know that honestly, everything will be put in place day by day, moment by moment, in order for me just to follow through instead of making my own assumptions on how it should be. So I'm not longer, my mind is no longer caught up with ideas of how should I take this or what should I do. It's just that I will just see innocence in everything, and that will give me a clear view of which is my next step as I give love to everybody around me, including my ex-husband that is trying to give me a hard time because he's not trying to do anything. In fact, he's just being him. Even the scorpions, even the whatever it is that we have a name, the other parts of ourselves that are not so good, the narcissists, even those are part of the innocence of God. So when we just accept the idea that we live among scorpions and snakes and cancer and anything, but that is just a part of a coin, and that doesn't mean that is not a coin, then you realize that you have been always like having this imposter syndrome, that it's equals to believing that you are a source outside the source. And if you take those three letters, it means SOS. It's an emergency, it's an identity crisis. So what happens there is that every time that we have fear, it's an emergency system being set up only for you to realize that you are not inviting the Holy Spirit. You are not inviting the idea that you do have a beautiful, wonder, abundant Father to go to and say, please save this ship. Please save this ship because I'm thinking that this is a ship and I'm not seeing myself in the ocean. Bring me back to the ocean where I'm safe, even if the ocean means that I'm gonna be drowned. So uh, the emptiness engendered by fear must be replaced by forgiveness. This is what the Bible means by there is no death, and why I could demonstrate that death does not exist. I came to fulfill the law by reinterpreting it. The law itself, if properly understood, offers only protections. It is those who have not yet changed their minds who brought the hellfire concept into it. I assure you that I will witness for anyone who lets me, and to whatever extent he permits it. Your witnessing demonstrate your belief and thus strengthen it. Those who witness for me are expressing through their miracles that they have abandoned the belief in deprivation in favor of the abundance that they have learned belongs to them. This is from the text part of the book, The Meaning of Miracles, The Escape from Darkness. This last part that I read. So I am getting out of my own way to be the observer and just give love because I can't do anything outside myself. I can't do anything outside myself. The only way that you will feel God, God as your Father present during the day and that you are guided is if you place yourself as the observer and love whatever it is you're seeing. That's the only way. Because everything is an analogy of that. Everything is a singularity. So, in order for you to be God, you need to be still. Even if your mind is going crazy, giving you fearful thoughts, they are just thoughts. Actually, nothing is happening to your body right now. Just thoughts. So, be still. Give those thoughts a way out in some form, talking to somebody, crying, writing, whatever. Give those thoughts away. Not reject them just because they're fearful. Just give those thoughts away. Let them out of your body in some form, and then be still and be the observer and love. You don't have to do anything else. Everything is gonna be a clear path because whatever is not for the higher for the higher benefit of everybody is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Every single road will lead us to the same point. So there's no question anymore in our minds if we truly take this deeply that there should be less and less and less and less hesitation to build this beautiful word that is called faith. So I give my life to God to guide me today. I will be the observer and I will love. And love is just observing. Honestly, it's just observing for us. That's the innocence that we need to display in this world. If you are taking this to heart, you will find the answer in the heart, not in your set of belief systems. So if you're in the woods, be the tree, be a tree. If you're in the water, enjoy the water, be the water. If you're among men and you're a woman, be the mother that gives love. If you're among women and you're the man, be the father of those women. Give love unconditionally. If you're among kids, be the kid as well. Play, joy, because God has all his children very well taken care of. And if you are alone and you don't feel anything behind you or around you or with you, if you feel alone, then be the Holy Spirit that it's just there. Be still and feel like everything around you is part of you. Everything. So if the mind serves the spirit, it will feel invulnerable, not because things are not happening outside, it's just because it doesn't have another choice. to feel more than to feel innocence in everything. If we remain like silent and still and hear ourselves inside of us with all those ideas, we will find out that everything is this identity crisis. Those chit chat, fearful thoughts in our minds are just an identity crisis. Is that source outside the source telling you that you're a part and that you have to be God in this world, so you have to lead the way for everybody? You don't have to do nothing. You just have to be there, give love. Be there, give love. Be here right now and love. And that's it. And everything that your mind tries to bring from the past or the inserting this from the future, let those thoughts be and forgive it. The key is that, I mean, the book has really a very nice structure in that, and Tom has given us really good summaries of this. Part one, forgiveness. Part two, the innocence. We are now in the salvation process, and the salvation process is the ability to feel ourselves as innocent as babies, if you want to call it like that. And therefore, we can see the other people innocent from whatever they are doing, because we are all here thinking we are bodies. We are thinking that we are sources outside the one single source. So we are all in some form in an identity crisis, different levels or intensities in that sense. So some had a little bit deeper than others, but I'm guessing that the ones that are more in depression is because they have a bigger love to give, and that love is trying to just be manifested in some way that can be recognized as one single love that is not coming from your body. So I don't know. I feel the very perfection in this set of lessons and in this path that I'm walking with all of you. I know that today is a hard morning for Lee. He has this thoughts right now, yeah, like giving him a little bit of spooky sadness, but it's good. It's good. It has to be like that in some form, and there will be the time or the moment when something will spark in him the certainty that everything is okay, and I'm here. Even when I'm not, I'm gonna be here. So thank you, everybody. If somebody from the panel from down below wants to share something, you can raise your hands and I will bring you up. I already sent a lot of invitation. I'm sorry if that seems a little bit insistent.
Adriana, that was beautiful, and everything is good. Tom, this was a magnificent example of animating and making the words that are on the first 1,400 pages of this book come alive and in a way that we can experience the trail that we all take, and know that we have a guide at all places, at every fork in the road. There's a way to go. We can go the way we're afraid and take a chance, or we can go the way we know we don't have to be afraid. I remember, believe it or not, young folks, there was a time before they had a GPS automatically installed in every car. And the first experience I had in trying it out that finally convinced me that this GPS, this was at least 15 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but this GPS really works, was when my wife Susie and I were driving around somewhere in South Carolina, I think it was. And I had this idea that I could figure the way out to get back to the highway. we had to get back to the highway, and every turn I made, I tried to be convinced that this is the best turn. Now let's do this, and let's turn that way, and let's turn. And I got nowhere. I just kept going around, probably in one big circle, and never finding the highway. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try this GPS thing. And I turned it on, not really knowing exactly how it's supposed to work, but it said that there was a path. This is a true story, folks. I'm serious. We were lost for at least an hour to an hour and a half. And it's a perfect example of your story, Tom, because in that hour and a half or so, I was just getting more and more worried. Where the hell are we? And I turned it on, and it said there's a path right here. Now, I didn't even understand enough to know the difference between a road in that case, or whether it was just a dirt path. And I had not, now I also can look back and say, I'm glad I didn't have this set for major highways only, because it could have been. In which case, I never would have gotten this little direction. So I turned this GPS on, and it said, there's a dirt road here. It didn't say that. It just said, here is how you get from where you are to the highway. And I decided to try it out, see if this GPS really worked. And guess what? We were like 400 feet from the highway at that moment. And by taking that particular dirt path that I never would have taken, I got to the highway. And so the idea of a GPS, which all of you take for granted, has always been there. Guess what? It's not always been there. But it is now. And Tom, I would take your story and to change the metaphor a little bit, I would say that God has installed in us a perfect GPS. And there's always a way out. And the way out is the way to God and a relationship, a new relationship with a GPS that has all kinds of amazing different ways to keep me going in the right, best direction for me. What makes me say that there is a best direction? Maybe I'm supposed to just be an adventurer. Well, I can be an adventurer, but I am always, because I can't be otherwise, I'm always the child of God. I was born that way. That's what I am. And I'm here to learn more clearly what I am and what my inheritance is. What is it that I get from that beingness of God's child? What that is for me to play around for a while and then make sure I leave a legacy that the next child also knows there's a perfect GPS every time. May not look like fun at first, but the GPS works. It works perfectly if I follow it. If I don't follow it, it continues to work perfectly, but it doesn't help me at all. So what this comes back to for me is that in the vehicle that I drive, there is a GPS that I can listen to. That GPS sends me messages in life by knowing, no, it doesn't know. It doesn't really care what I'm going through. It just tells me, here is how you get out of the mess you just got yourself into. I hope you enjoyed the game you just played. It's probably not in your best interest. Try some of the paths I'm giving you. And that GPS works. Before that particular experience that I just described, of this dirt road that got me back to the highway in minutes, I had another experience with Lee. And he's going to remember this, and he's going to start to laugh right now, Adriana. I guarantee you. We were going to a place that none of us had ever been to. He had come, he had flown down to this particular place, and none of us were sure how to get to where we had to go. And Lee made a famous statement in our family that we have joked about with him many times. We don't do it anymore. And it said, that statement that Lee repeated was, trust the GPS. It'll get you. Well, Lee knew a lot more about GPSs than I did. However, the GPS system didn't work very well in the particular mountain that we were traveling in. And we ended up going past a house with a woman who was in not a wheelchair, a rocking chair on the front, and seemed to be having a rifle in her lap. And Lee was saying, trust the GPS. And we did. And we ended up in the middle of a cornfield, having no idea where to go then, except to turn around and go back the way we came in until we find sure ground. That was all we had at the time. It was that instinct that something internally said, go back the way you came. There's a way to get to your direction, but like Tom said, we have to retrace our steps. Now that the GPS covers probably every pathway in the country, and so it can lead us better than it could. In life, it means I have to make course changes at times. When I begin to feel that things are not working out, they're just wrong. I'm on the wrong path. I'm not getting where I want to go. But this is a big path I want. Too bad. It may not get you where you want to go. Do you really want to keep on taking that pathway, which has led you to more and more pain that you're now experiencing? Or do you want to retrace your steps? The one part of this lesson that may be the most important part is we always have the option. We're not in jail anymore. We can retrace our steps. We can change our direction. We can change our path. And most of all, as Tom said, and Adriana echoed, we now have, because of this experience, a much, much better understanding of the messages that this installed GPS, how it works, how to understand it, whether it's giving out beeps or whether it's saying, go here, whatever it's telling us, we can follow that GPS because it's permanently installed. It's simply up to us to follow its guidance.
Can I jump in with something that it's related to that
Absolutely.
specific thing?
And I'm
It's
finished.
funny because as long as we keep looking outside, we always find those kind of moments of determination where you have to choose again another. I mean, every single day is an opportunity to be born again. So you will have to go through different paths, but that doesn't mean that the lesson is going to be different. It's one single lesson. It's one single lesson that we are learning here, and we will have different colors or different aspects of that one single lesson. This is an analogy that I know that Lee doesn't appreciate that much because he's really well invested in the internet world. But in a very simplistic way, it's funny how we as humans relates so much with our lives to something that cannot be seen, cannot be tasted, and cannot be touched, because internet at the end of the day is just energy. And we do trust internet that much that we give our lives into those platforms, and we feel connected with each other through those platforms, but we don't believe in God, and we have a hard time trusting that there's something beyond us that can help us. But we do trust internet, and internet is not there to be seen, tortured, whatever, because it's just energy. When you get in contact with those platforms and those devices and all the technology and whatever, because some mind decided that wants to interact with it. So it creates something in order to experience the energy. But internet is just energy. And we do trust internet. And if internet is gone in our lives, we feel completely in fear because, oh my God, my work, oh my God, I gotta do these payments, and now everything relies on internet. What is going on at the higher level of our existence as human beings is that everything is going to be closer and closer and closer to that one singularity that we have been always looking for outside, that everything is one experience of separation in this level of the form. So we have been creating illusions because we have been thinking that we sourced the matter by doing things and creating things with our hands and whatever with our bodies. But that is not the source of our problem. The source of our problem is that we think that we are a source, a single source outside the source, and nobody else. When a mind is in pain, when a mind is in this process of reframing the entire life, it's just because it's experiencing the energy in a different perspective. In my case, I know for sure that all the things that I'm experiencing right now in my life, that it seems like I'm in the limbo, it's because my mind is being reframed, in the sense that I can clearly see now that everything is an analogy of my relationship in trust of that source, that it's my father, that is the father of all there is. So as long as I move forward without fear, I can be more sustained by this very same concept, that I am the child of God, and therefore there's nothing to fear, because anything that happens in my life, even if it is a twisted separation illusion, will lead me back to love in some form with anybody. I have chosen for myself to see innocence in everybody, in my ex-husband, in whatever it is, in Liz ex-wife. I really see her as a great mother. I don't see her like the fearful woman that she can be, because I can be that as well for my ex-husband, in fact. So it's a determination, it's a thought away. The heaven is a thought away. And the challenge is every single day waking up, being in a body, and deciding that yes, I am this body right now, but that doesn't define me. Yes, I am having the situation right now, but that doesn't define me. Yes, I don't have a clue what I'm going to do with my life today, but that doesn't mean that I'm dead. That doesn't mean that I'm dead. I'm not dying. And something will have to die in the level of the form in order for me just to be back again with love. That is the singularity in life. Everything, every path that you choose, every decision that you make will create a little bit of friction, because you're still creating things in this level of the form. But if you do it with the expression of love, with the intention of love, with the intention of peace, you will be creating heaven, because heaven has never been apart, has always been here, and it's a thought away. In fact, you don't need to create any more illusions, because the heaven has always been here, a thought away from us. So instead of dwelling in the identity crisis that we all are, we have to just acknowledge that we are in this situation, but saying, okay, yeah, that it's in my screen right now. But I am not the movie. I am God. I mean, I'm part of the source. The source has me. I don't have the source. The source has me. If that is helpful for anybody.
Inara?
Hi, Nara. Welcome. I would love to hear your story with the course. How did you
Hi,
find it?
everyone. Yes, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Oh, great. Okay. So, well, I'm very happy to join you guys every day. And I couldn't help but, raise my hand because talking about, following our inner guide and, and the story with the GPS, it reminded me of something that happened years ago. I went to this festival called the Spirits Festival in Bali, and it was my first time in Bali. So it just happened that a friend was going, and I always wanted to go to this festival. So I was like, okay, I'm coming. So I just went, and I had my phone was not working there, and I was like, okay, so I'll see you at the festival. I go there, and they had this music concert like on the first evening, and it was my first time, so I had no clue. So I walk in, and there were around 2,000, at least 2,500 people, and I'm supposed to find my friend. So I look at the crowd, and I'm like, okay, so how is this gonna work? And I hear a voice inside, so there was no GPS. I had no phone on me, and I was like, okay. I hear a voice that said, "Just walk." And there was a crowd of people dancing and everything, and I just walk, and I walk across people smiling, and it's a yoga and music festival, and so people are smiling, so I come across all these beautiful faces and everything, and I keep walking, and I'm like, okay, it's just not happening, like, to find her. Like, there's no, I just be, and that's it. I'm just gonna be at this with the crowd, and whatever happens happens. I let go of the idea of actually finding my friend. So I just keep walking,